happy. What day is it?
Monday.
And what are you doing today?
Go back to school.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Oh, when he's going back to school, James is back to work, although he didn't really have a break, he just had the weekend. And I'm getting back to work today too, although I was meant to mind Hugh today, but he's not gonna go to school today. So
why?
He just can't go to school, maybe he's sick or something. And then he's back tomorrow, so it's kind of easing me back into work. So I need to do some work, like I have printed my orders last night and I need to cut some to get ready for shipping, and I need to work on new designs. So I have plenty of work to do this week, so as much as I can do today I will. Alfie has been a monkey last night. He went to sleep at about, well, he slept, he had a late nap, but a very short one. Then he went to sleep at 10 and he woke up at 1, and then it was him awake until 5. So he was back to sleep at 5. It's now just after 8. I'm gonna leave the latest possible to go to school to like give him as much time to sleep as I can. And then I'm hoping that he will sleep at some point during the day, because I don't know what he's doing. I really don't understand what he's doing. He's a monkey, isn't he?
Yeah, but I just wanted to tell you something. It was, I really like playing with you, but hopefully you'll be back tomorrow.
Say that again? You like to play with you and you hope he's back tomorrow, is that it?
Yeah.
He will be back tomorrow. Okay?
Okay.
Right, let's get ready for school. Oh, I'm tired. It's 10:30 and so far I'm powering through my to-do list of things I have to do in the house, so I'm quite happy. I'm almost finished with my laundry. I just have like the last load to put on once this one is over. And we finally solved something with James, which has been, oh, it's been driving us a little bit nuts lately. James has to get hormone replacement therapy, but in order for him to get 1 injection every 3 months, to get the ball rolling anyway, well, I hope it won't be the same every single time, because otherwise it's just going to get very annoying quickly. There, for him to get 1 injection on Wednesday, it did involve 4 different people which could not communicate between each other. So unless we did all the communication between them, nothing was happening. The injection and the dosage has been decided by the endocrinologist who follows James in the hospital in Belfast, and then a letter with all the details of what he had to get was sent to the GP here where we live, and the GP apparently never received anything. So James phoned the endocrinologist for a letter to be sent again. They're still saying they didn't receive anything, but every time we were sent a copy as well, and we received both copies, so I don't really know what to believe. Anyway, we ended up bringing one of our copies there for the GP to be able to do a prescription to be sent to the pharmacy, for the pharmacist to order the stuff because they don't stock them, and then James has to see the GP to be getting a chat about, you know, how it's going to affect him and all that. And then he has to go and see the nurse who will do the injections, because apparently the GP doesn't do the injection. But and the last weekend, just before the weekend, we realized that the GP had never sent a prescription, that the pharmacy had to order things in, and that they didn't know how long it would take for things to come, because it's not your regular thing that they would get delivered easily. Turned out we got everything sorted, and now everything we need is at the pharmacy waiting for James to collect just before his appointment, so he can get his injection as planned and he doesn't waste a half day of work that he had taken off. So yay to this. We're back from the school run. I have no one here who's getting changed. We have created an anti-grumpiness team, Owen and I, didn't we?
Yeah, and Daddy.
And Daddy too.
At the weekend.
Yeah, at the weekend we decided we'll do a team of anti-grumpiness, because when Alfie hasn't slept enough, he's extremely grumpy, or when he's just woken up, he's extremely grumpy. So there are a lot of little things we can do to help him not being grumpy, and that's making sure, for example, when he's almost asleep, we're being quiet to make sure he can fall asleep. When he's asleep, we're not being crazy in the house to make sure he stays asleep, aren't we?
Yeah.
But the good thing is that whenever we do that, then Alfie goes to sleep. Like right now, he's in bed now, and it means once we've done all the homework, I get to do some work, and Owen can
play all day.
He can play for a while, so that's good.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, but I'll sleep for the rest of the day. I can play for the rest of the day.
Yeah, see, the problem is that when Owen's playing the Xbox, when Alfie's around, Alfie keeps turning it off constantly, and sometimes it means you haven't saved and all that, and it's just very hard to get him to understand not to do that. He just loves the buttons and the light coming on them and all that. So it's always nicer for Owen to play the Xbox when Alfie's not around. So there he should get a wee while to play without Alfie being there, don't you?
Yeah.
So we're gonna make it a nice time, and I get to work because I need to work. And this morning I couldn't because Alfie just needed me to take care of him. So we're gonna do the homework and then work and play for Owen. It's now 5:30 and I've had an extremely productive day, and I couldn't be happier. I have finished and packed every single one of my orders. I'm so glad. I did not expect to do half of what I've done. I finished them for 3 hours, and it's amazing if I work flat out for 3 hours how much I can get done. So it gives me perspective on how much I can grow my businesses once it starts going to school as well, because I will have a lot more time to put into that. But no, I know I've said in the past I'm not going to do politics in those vlogs or religion and stuff like that. I just want to talk about something which is not strictly politics, but on the 2nd of March in Northern Ireland we have elections to choose basically a whole new government, which will then make the choice of who is the first minister and the deputy first minister in Northern Ireland, which is pretty important who it is, because I know the reason why I'm explaining this is because a lot of the people who watch those vlogs are not from Northern Ireland. I don't know how much of this is covered in the rest of the UK, and I know a lot of you are in America, and you definitely, I guess with the amount of rubbish that's happening in your country right now, I'm sure that there's no room to cover those kind of news. But basically, as you know, the referendum for Brexit meant that the government is heading towards leaving the EU. And the way it is done could make a massive difference to people like me who are immigrants in this country. And right now I do not know what my situation is. I do not know what I will be entitled to. As of now, if I wanted to ask for dual citizenship, I have to pay a lot of money which I don't have, and I'm not willing to pay because it just goes in the pockets of the government. It's not being used in a way that I think it should be used, and I don't want to pay for it, if that makes sense. If it's my only solution to be able to stay here, I will think about it, but for now I refuse to pay this kind of money for this. It's not worth it. I don't want to pay for money to be able to stay in a country who doesn't want me here, basically. So anyway, I'm stressing there, but we keep getting those leaflets in the post with like all the people I can vote for, and what they want to, what their plan is and all that. And I'm not going to talk about the parties themselves because it doesn't matter which party it is. I just want to have a round about one thing. You have some now I'm not judging the parties by that, so don't even look at which party it is, because parties from all sides do the same. You have parties which explain very clearly what they plan to do for the people. They make it very clear of what they want to focus on, and make it very easy for people to read when they see their leaflets. Then you have parties who explain nothing about what they want to do. All they do is explain what a bad job the other parties have done in the past. And this to me is rubbish, because at the end of the day they don't even tell you what they can do, what they plan to do, so you don't even know what you're voting for. It's like voting against the other people, and I hate this. It's rubbish, and there's so many parties who do that. It's ridiculous, because at the end of the day, the reason why those leaflets come to your letterbox, and that's why I keep them all, because I want to be able to compare, is to make a decision. I was not allowed to vote in the referendum because I'm not a UK citizen, but I'm allowed to vote in those elections because they are local elections. And I gave up my right to vote for certain elections in France So it's important for me to, it's one of the only way I can have a little bit of a say in what may happen to Northern Ireland within Europe, well within the EU later on, depending on who is going to be doing negotiations and asking for things. So the only thing I will mention is that anybody who says clearly on their thing that they are completely pro-Brexit and basically Europe is rubbish is not getting my vote. But for the other ones, I am not somebody who has lived here with the history there is. But it may be silly of me, but anybody who doesn't show me how they want to get why they want to get my vote and what they plan to do with it is also not getting my vote, because that's just so stupid. I just want a clear idea of what these people want to do. I'm not going to vote for somebody just because they said the other guy was rubbish. It's like, hi, get my vote, this guy was rubbish, but nothing tells me you're not even worse than this guy if you don't prove it to me. Of course, a lot of things could be lying in those things, but if at least I can see, if I can see they actually have a plan, then I'm more likely to give them my vote. So anyway, this is my little rant about politics. I'm not into politics at all, but right now this is something that it's important for me to do because it could have a big impact on my future. So I need to look into politics properly to be able to make a good decision about what I want to support, basically, even though it's not going to make a massive difference to what happens to the whole of the EU. It'll still make a tiny bit of a difference. I think if everybody does their bit, it could make a big difference. Okay, we are reaching a really important moment in Pokemon Go, because we have enough Eevee candy to get one of the new Eevee evolutions. So we're gonna try it now. Are you ready, Owen?
Yeah.
We're gonna do the first one and see if it worked to get a fourth Eevee evolution. We have 3 so far. Are you ready, Owen?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I want to see it.
Yes! Hello, happy Tuesday. It's 8:30 and this is the face of sleep deprivation. Not because my child didn't sleep, because my brain is insane. And whenever I do stuff before I go to bed, if I'm not careful about what I do, my brain turns it into crazy insane dreams. So last night, before I went to bed, I watched Project Runway Junior, and I also talked about and had a look with James about what courses were available locally. We were looking if was some evening classes just to learn new stuff and meet people and all we could do, and it turned my dream into some kind of writing competition where I had to live at the edge of a cliff to write a book, and I was giving assignments by Tim Gunn. It was just really strange. It was just very, very strange, and it kept waking me up, and then I was going back to sleep and would wake up at the same point again and all that. It's hard to tell now what it was all about because I only remember half of it, but this is what goes on in my brain. Now I'm super glad I managed to do all my orders yesterday, because so far this morning it's 11:15, and so far everything I tried I couldn't do because I have a little baby there who is not happy. He just needs me constantly. Every time I try to put him even beside me on the couch with my arm around him, that's not enough. It's not close enough. He's extremely clingy. He will not eat food at all, and he seems just in pain. So I know those signs. Alfie has massive issues with his bowels, which are just very lazy, and it just does that sometimes. He has medication for it, which we're trying not to give him all the time and just use whenever we need at the minute. It's improving, and we've been told it should improve with time, yeah, so I gave him a dose about 15 minutes ago. Usually it gives him relief pretty quickly, and it's just there. He's sat down, well, he's still in between my legs holding my feet, but that's the farthest away he's got from me so far today. Since he woke up, he's been whining and clinging to me, and sometimes even if I don't hold him tight enough in my arms, it's not enough. So he's trying to get away a bit. Anyway, so yeah, I got nothing done. The good thing is that I was really ahead of my work, so I'm glad about that. Like, come here. See there, he got away a little bit, and then here we go again. Come on, monkey. I even tried to give him his favorite thing, like there's like a, what they call a parrot biscuit, like a chocolate sandwich biscuit, and even that he will not touch. So that's how when I know, yeah, he's not well. So hopefully he has no temperature or anything. I gave him painkillers and I gave him the things for the constipation. So hopefully between the two, soon enough he'll just feel a bit better. But yeah, I feel a bit sorry for him right now. It's now 5:30 and I finally know what's wrong with Alfie. I found out in a lovely way. He was starting to be really clingy and cranky and clearly in pain again. And I know it couldn't be his bowels because he's had enough nappy since I gave him the, I mean, he needed a bit of clearing out, let's say. Sorry about the information, I just have no other way to put it. So that helped with that, but it was clear that it couldn't be that anymore. And the painkillers were wearing off, so I thought maybe it's that, and he started to really cry very loud and clearly show signs of pain. The next thing, he just pulled his hand to his ear and he scratched it, and then all this fluid came out. So I know now that he has an ear infection. It does make sense because he's had a cold for the past few weeks, like past 1.5 to 2 weeks, and I'm very prone to ear infections, and whenever I have them, it usually starts with a cold and then it migrates to my ear and I end up with the same fluid draining out. What reassures me in a way is that in my case anyway, but I will still double check with the doctor because I don't know about other scenarios, I just know my own personal experience and I just want to make sure I don't dismiss anything more serious or anything like that. In my case, when my ear is draining everything out, that's usually the start of everything getting a lot better and instantly takes a lot of the pain and the pressure away. So, and if I judge by his behavior, it seems that it's in that instant anyway, this is what happened. He couldn't fall asleep all morning. I knew he was tired and he was trying to get over, but every time he would lie down he would scream, and now I know why. But at the time it just, because he has so many digestive things, I kind of put it down to that, and the ears are, it's inside, you can't see anything, so it's hard to know. And then after that happened, he was doing the whining thing he does when he's asleep, but no more screaming, no more looking in pain, nothing. It seems like after that happened, all the pain was suddenly gone. The only moment where he was showing signs of pain was when I tried to clean the outside of his ear because it was just covered in everything, and I didn't want that to dry and block the ear. I just wanted to make sure whatever was left in there could come out. So he didn't like that very much, so I decided to just clear most of it and then wait until he was asleep to do it. He did not budge when I did it when he was asleep, so I'm guessing it's not, you know, agony anymore. And he just had a bit of milk and he went straight to sleep. His appetite hasn't been good at all the last few days too, and I'm guessing swallowing and chewing with that is also. So it's now all making sense. So the plan is going to be that I'm going to phone at 6 o'clock. For our GP is now closed, so I can't go to see them. I probably wouldn't get such a short notice appointment anyway, so I need to wait for 6 o'clock for the out of hours doctors to take over, and I'm going to phone them just to get their opinion. I'm happy enough, like I'm going to let him sleep anyway. I'm probably going to wait actually until he's awake, because they might ask me how he is when he's awake. See how he is when he's awake and keep the painkillers up, and I doubt he would need antibiotics at this stage now, that if the infection is clearing by itself like this. Usually I've had antibiotics only before that stage and then it would help clear it, but every time I've been in that situation and I caught it then, I've always been told the antibiotic would be pointless now, so we'll see. Anyway, I'll keep you updated as I know more, but fingers crossed. I'm just going to let it sleep as long as he needs. It doesn't matter if we have an interrupted night anyway. It will more than likely be interrupted, so I'd rather prepare myself for that and just let him rest whenever he wants to rest. And yes, I need, you know, it's just a few days, and for him to get better right now, it's not like he's doing tantrums and stuff like that. There was a clear reason now why he didn't sleep well the last few nights, so it's finally all making sense. And even if it's not a nice finding, at least now I know what's going on, and this alone is great, because when you have a screaming baby, you know he's really in pain and you don't know what's wrong because they can't talk to tell you. It's very frustrating and it's very distressing, and I'm now very pleased that I know what is going on. It's 20 past 12 now, and we didn't end up going to see a doctor. Alfie is, where is he? There, somewhere. He's definitely back to normal. His ear is getting better and better. So I'm just gonna wait until tomorrow. If I have any doubts tomorrow morning, I'll just phone the doctor to get some advice, but I'm pretty confident that it's just the end of it and he's just completely back to normal there. So I'm gonna head to bed. I think it's gonna be a long night for us. Alfie, do you wanna say bye-bye? Alfie. It's very busy right now. Don't know what doing what, but
he's playing with one of the gups from
Alfie's obsessed with any kind of vehicles. Alfie, wanna say bye-bye? No? That? That's a boat. As I said, he's obsessed with vehicles. It's a boat. He woke up at just after 8, so he's gonna be, hopefully he will sleep soon. I'm gonna stop the vlog now, and I will see you in the next vlog on, when is the next one? Saturday? Yes, I think that's it. Saturday night at 5 o'clock. See you then. Bye.